Okay, my fellow YouTubers, I want to thank you once again for tuning into the channel. This is Sarge, USMC. Name of the channel is Mix Max Stereo. This video will be about triumphing my Klipsch Forte 4 speakers. Also how to switch my McIntosh 275 power amps from stereo mode to mono mode. Alright, so let's get started on this video. First of all, my preamp is a McIntosh C2300. It has the capabilities of running 3 separate power amps. So that's one, which is on. That one is driving the McIntosh 402 solid state power amp, 400 watts per channel. Output 2 is off, and it has a main channel in the back. The main channel is going out to the moderate instruments analog bridge, which I installed in between my preamp and my power amps. So the main output in the back, we'll go back here. So this is the rear of the McIntosh preamp. That is the main output. See the word main? That's going to the analog bridge. And from the analog bridge, that's going out to the McIntosh 275 power amps. And that's the input. Right there is input 1. That's going to the McIntosh MC402, straight to the McIntosh. From the preamp right to the McIntosh. Whereas the main one is going from the preamp to the analog bridge, then to the McIntosh 275. Alright, let's get back around here. So the main output is coming from the McIntosh C2300. It's all tube preamp, which is going down to the moderate instruments analog bridge. It's all tube, and that is going into the McIntosh 275 all tube power amps. Now the McIntosh 275, there are stereo amplifiers. There are stereo amplifiers, but they can be switched to work in mono mode. And how you do that, I'm gonna try to get this the best I can. You have to put jumpers from your left channel to your right channel to turn this into mono mode. So what you have to do is take a jumper cable, which I made these myself from like Radio Shack speaker wire, or you can actually buy jumpers, but the one that I bought wouldn't fit. Alright, so I made my own. So over here is your left channel. You have to put a jumper from the negative on your left channel, which is right here, to your negative to your right channel, which is right here. So from left channel, negative, to right channel, negative. Alright, then you have to do the positive. The Klipsch horns are 8-ohm speakers, so they suggest you use the 16-ohm load. So on the left channel, I have the jumper and the 16-ohm load. To the right channel, 16-ohm load. Alright, so now this is scrapped into or switched into mono mode. But you have to use the jumpers. Once again, negative from the left channel to negative to the right channel. All right, and since these are 8 ohm speakers, you're going to go 16 ohms on the left channel, once again to 16 ohms on the right channel. Now my main speakers are Wilson Audio's Wild Puppy 8s, and they are 4 ohm speakers. So I had them going from the negative left to negative right, and I used the 8 ohm leads to double in power. But these are 8 ohms, so I'm using the 16 ohm leads. That's in the McIntosh manual. And also, the interconnect has to go to your right channel mode, or the right channel connection, which is right here. And that'll be on both speakers, both amps. You'll put the interconnect on the right channel on both amps, the left channel and the right channel. And your speaker wire will be, this is the right channel speaker that I'm at, so that's going to be on your right channel connections. So the right channel connections to your right speaker, which will be to your right when you're setting down. And you got little switches here on the amp that say mono and stereo. You have to put that in mono mode. So put that switch on mono mode on both power amps. You see that? Stereo, mono, put that in mono mode. All right, we'll do the same thing to the left channel. All right, let's go sit out. I bought the amps like in 2010, so some of the amps, some of the writing and the logos are fading away. So this is the left channel. Same thing. You're going to take your negative on your left channel to your negative on your right channel. 8 ohm speakers, so we can use the 16 ohm taps. 16 ohms tap on your left channel to the 16 ohm tap on your right channel. Once again, find that switch, stereo, mono, put that in mono. And your interconnect, like I said earlier, is going to be on the right channel. So both interconnects be on your right channel on both amps. Now the speaker connection over here, this is my left channel speaker. The speaker's connection is on the left channel. On the other one, it's on the right channel. All right. And I'm using the balance interconnect. So if you got balance interconnects, you can have that little switch on balance or unbalanced if you're using RCA. So that is how you switch the amplifiers, the McIntosh 275. You just switch them from stereo to mono mode, and you double your power from 75 watts to 150 watts when you put them in mono mode. And I'm running the Klipsch Forte's tri-amp. That means I'm using 3 amplifiers. So I'm using the 275s on the upper end of the speaker. So the 275s is only going to be pushing the mid-range and the tweeter. So that I'm going to have 150 watts of tube power just on the mid-range and the tweeter. The woofer is going to be pushed by the MC 402, 400 watts of solid state power. And the second output on the preamp is going straight to the McIntosh 402. So you can see here, this is the back of the 402. That's going to both speakers. So that's triumphing the Klipsch horns. Then if I had two 402s, they can also be switched. This amp can also be switched to mono mode. If I had two of these, I could actually quad amp these speakers. I would have a 275 on the mids and the highs, and I would have just one of these on the woofers. If I had two of these, I would have the same thing on this speaker also. But I only had one 402, so I had this just on the bottom end of the Klipsch Fortes, and I have 150 watts of Peer 2 power on the mid-range and the tweeters. And in the back of the speakers, they have two sets of bonding posts. So this is your two sets of bonding posts. The top part of the speaker is for your highs, and this is the cable, which is a luminous audio Syncastra speaker cable. That's coming from the 275s, tube amps, right to the top portion of this speaker. So this is being pushed by 150 watts of all tube power. The bottom end of the speaker, which is the lows, is being fed by the MC402 solid state. So I have the solid state on the woofer, and the highs being pushed by the 275s. So the top portion of the speaker, 275s, all tube. The bottom portion of the speaker, the solid state, MC402. And if you do this, the main thing you got to do if you're going to triumph these speakers, or if you're going to use bi-wire cables, you got to remove these jumper bars. If not, you would damage your amp or your speakers, or damage both of them. So if you're going to use two sets of cables on these speakers, please remove the jumper bars. If you're only using 1 amp per speaker, you can keep these in place, because these jumper bars tie your lows and your highs together. So if you're only using 1 amp on a speaker, leave them in place, because they're going to tie your lows and highs together. If you're going to do what I do, which is triamp, or even if you use bi-wire, please take these jumper bars off. I learned the hard way. Alright, let's try to cover this again, because a gentleman asked about this on the McIntosh page, how to switch your 275s into mono mode. And this is how you do that. Once again, you gotta have these jumpers. I made these myself from Speaker Wire from Radio Shack. So I bought these amps, I think, in 2010, so I had them for a while. Once again, cover this again. You gotta have the jumpers from your left channel to your right channel, the negative on the left channel to the negative on your right channel. 8-ohm speakers, you want to use the 16-ohm taps, so you're going to use the 16-ohm on the left channel, tie that into 16-ohm on the right channel, because the 8-ohm speakers, like I said, my main speakers are Wilson Audio Wapuppy 8s. They're 4-ohm, so I would use the 8-ohm tap. You want to double that. But these are 8 ohms, so I'm using the 16-ohm taps to double that. And don't forget, you gotta put that switch in mono mode instead of stereo mode. Alright, if you're gonna use it in stereo mode, that's gotta be in stereo. But if you switch that to mono mode, or if you want to put these in mono mode, put that little switch in mono. And also, like I said, both interconnect are going to be in the right channel on both amps. So that is how you switch your 275 from stereo mode to mono mode, you have to use the jumpers. And I got these speakers Triumph. So I had the McIntosh MC402 driving the woofers of the speaker, the bottom end. So that is relieving the 275 for doing any hard work or trying to push that woofer. All the 275s are doing is pushing the mid-range portion of the speaker and the tweeter. And the solid state 402 is taking care of the woofer. So the 402 is not doing anything as far as the mid-range and tweeter goes. That's all being done by the McIntosh 275 all tube power amps. So that is my take on the Triumphing. I mean, you could use just one 275 to do these, to push these Forte speakers. You can only use just, because you put them in stereo mode, you can only use that one amp, one of the 275s to do this job. But I have two of them, so I'd rather put them in mono mode and have one tube amp pushing one speaker. I mean, they're stereo amps and they will do the job fine if you had them ran that in stereo for both speakers. But I think doing mono, you're taking less chance of having crosstalk from one channel to the next channel. You got total separation of your mid-range and tweeter with 1 amp per speaker instead of using that as a stereo. But it will work fine with 1 amp doing everything. But I have 3 McIntosh amps and I want to put them to use in this mode. I've done it before on a pair of Polk LS15 speakers and it worked great. So these speakers they're able to buy wire, bi-amp, tri-amp, or quad amp, however you want to do it. Like I said, if I had another 402, I would quad amp these speakers. I would have one 275 and one 402 per speaker. That would be awesome. If I run across the 402 and can get a good deal on it, I might do that, but McIntosh gear holds its value. So you can pay the same thing for a 402 today, what I paid for it 10 years ago. But if I find one at a good price, I would definitely pick up another 402 so I could run these speakers in quad amp. All you're doing is separating your channels and your amps are working a whole lot. If I had this 275 in stereo, you put more stress on that amp because now it's got to push the tweeter, mid-range, and the woofer. Running it this way in Triumph, it's not. It's just pushing the tweeter and the mid-range, and the 402 is doing the woofers, the bottom end of the speakers. All right, so that's my take on triumphing the Klipsch Fortes, and also switching the 275 from stereo mode to mono mode. And this is a great setup. Just fortunate enough to have 3 McIntosh power amps, and that preamp it's great because you can run them many amps from that preamp, because that preamp, the 2300, has 3 outputs for power amps or power subs or whatever. Now a lot of amps don't have that output, that extra set of outputs. Most preamps only have 1 output for 1 power amp. But the McIntosh preamps, I love the McIntosh preamps because they have oodles and noodles of inputs and outputs. I think this one has like 5 balanced outputs. And I think it has like 6 outputs as far as RCA. So I love this preamp. You can do so much with this preamp. So this is a bonus, a plus, having this preamp to run this setup in Triumph mode. Like some amps, some preamps don't have that many inputs and outputs. Or if you can just buy a mono amp. A mono amp be a lot easier to use, but these are stereo amps. Switch to mono. You can buy a mono amp, and you don't have no jumper bars, none of this other crazy mess. All right. Have any questions? Drop them in the comments. Once again, this is Sarge, USMC. Name of the channel, Mix Match Stereo. Thank you all for tuning in. And once again, as my channel grows, I'm going to be giving some stuff away. I got too much stuff here. So on the giveaway list will be this BAT 5500 all-tube power amp. I got some Triode Corporation preamp all tube. This is an integrated amp, Triode Corporation. I have some Will Benson Donico ST70s, 35 watts per channel. I had a white one here, a green one in the back, and I have some more down here, some Donicos ST70s, which should be up for a giveaway as the channel grows. I have a Van Alstyne all-tube power amp. I think I'll hold on to the Prima Luna. I got two Conrad Johnson power amps back here, which will be on the list. Over here I got some Conrad Johnson's gear to moderate stays. I have a Bryson Audio memory player, PS Audio DAC, Conrad Johnson DAC. So subscribe to the channel, Mix Match Stereo. This is my just got done playing with the Bose 901s, a pair of Martin Logans SL3s, and we have back here a pair of Tecton Lures. All right, Mix Match Stereo. Thanks for tuning in. Come back to the channel anytime. If you like the content, you can subscribe. Hit the bell when new videos are being dropped. All right, thanks again. Simplify.